everybody, it is Desiree and I'm back with my 7th process video. I'm going to use a sketch here that Tina Gale just recently used for the Crafty Maven sketch, and I absolutely loved it. So I already knew I wanted to use it for my son's layout along with that Jack and Jill collection by Echo Park. In that collection, Jack and Jill, I found 2 graphic papers, and they were almost similar. One was a light blue and aqua, and then the other one is this dark, like almost like a grayish blue. And so I ended up picking that one because of the fact that I liked the contrast of the dark blue against that white paper. I felt the aqua kind of washed it out. So I cut that into a 4-inch strip, and then I again cut it down a 1/2 inch and ended up using that plaid paper that was on the back because I really like that. And so one thing I find myself that I've kind of noticed with boys' collections is, for one, they don't really tend to make a whole lot of them. So whenever I see them, I do buy them. And I notice that they always pretty much use the same color. So this layout is going to use a ton of different, well, not a ton, but quite a few different brands in different collections because I just happen to use the same colors. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and adhere that down. But while I'm doing that, I did want to say that I apologize for not having a video last weekend. Something kind of came up and took us by surprise, and I had to look for a part-time second job, and that just kind of stressed me out to a point of exhaustion. And so I'm just kind of behind on everything. But you know, that's one reason why I didn't want to commit on, a series in, scheduled time. So I really appreciate for all those, all of my followers that, or subscribers that, have hung in there and don't mind, and, even my new subscribers. So I really appreciate it, guys. Yeah, so anyways, back to the layout. I had to cover up the photo because obviously there's kids in there that I didn't have permission from the moms. Not that I didn't even ask, but sometimes I just cover it up, and if I haven't even had time to ask the parents. So anyways, because I'm on such a tight budget right now, I had to really just kind of shop my stash. And oh my gosh, when you really are in a bind where you cannot buy anything, it amazes me like how much more creative I get. So for like instance, I didn't have any tags. I mean, I have a couple, but they're pink and gold. And I don't know. I mean, we all know pink and gold ain't gonna match that. So I ended up grabbing Simple Stories 3x4 cards and went through them and found this one that would fit my die that said Awesome Sauce, and I cut that out. And then next I grabbed the Sprinklers by October Afternoon. One is from the Midway collection in Twilight, and the second one is Boarding Pass, the Frequent Flyer. And so I ended up creating big drops, which I'm obsessed with right now, versus the little tiny splatters. I really like the look of the big drops. And then I ended up, which I actually meant to say, that record, that was from also a Simple Stories 3x4 card. And so I cut that out, that record, and made it as another embellishment. So that mesh paper that you see in the background, oh my gosh. Okay, I bought that in 2003 when I worked at a scrapbooking store. And at the time, mesh was all the rage, but it was more like rubber mesh that you could find. Well, this is more like wiry, and this stuff is so cool. Oh my gosh, I wish I had more of it in different colors because it just looks awesome with I don't know, for boys layouts, because boys layouts, like I said, kind of reminds me of like gears and industrial like graphic designs, and I don't know. So I really like the look of it. And the color matched perfect with this layout. So I cut that down into a strip, and I I tried to adhere it with adhesives, and I also tried to adhere it using with the picture and the embellishments, and it wasn't moving, or it wasn't staying still. So I knew right away I would need brads, and I went through my stash and grabbed from the October Afternoon Midway collection. I grabbed a couple of brads from there, and also from, I want to say, the My Mind's Eye Crazy Boy, and picked a few of the colors that I was using throughout the embellishments, which was orange, blue, and green. And one thing you'll find me do, sometimes I do in groups of threes, like, into the triangle, giving the triangle design, and other times I just don't worry about it, because I feel like if I try to make it so perfect in everything, then it would probably take me a month just to do one layout. So, I mean, sometimes, I do things like, I guess, like a designer way, and then other times I don't, and I just don't worry about it. If I love the look, I roll with it. And so I put down a couple of brads, and I noticed, you'll watch me even try to adhere it with my adhesive, and it just doesn't work. So then I grabbed some basic gray flags, and those were from the knee-high and bow ties, I think it's called. And I, again, just picking out the colors that I had going throughout my layout, and one said rock on and the other one said pow. And then I tried to use an eyelet because I have so many eyelets for the tag that I made, but the hole was too big, so I ended up having to use a brad, which was perfect because more brads the merrier to hold that mesh down. And see right here, you're watching me use my tiny attacher, and I try to make an attempt to, do the top part, and it didn't work because I didn't have enough room. So I'm really hoping that Tim Holtz creates a tiny attacher that can actually go, to meet the middle of a 12-inch layout. I did, though, however, use the tiny attacher at the bottom because I did have, I was able to staple it there. And you can't even tell, it's funny because that mesh just kind of hides everything. So then I wanted to place another piece of that mesh somewhere else, and so I put it to the right, and I was going to wrap around the paper, and because it's wiry, it kind of bulked it up, and so I just made a decision of just cutting it off to the side and attaching it with a tiny attacher. Okay, and here I'm placing the flags with not pop-up dots, foam dots, to kind of give it some movement and not make everything look so flat. And I placed it right on top of the record player, which, so a funny story. My son came in and he sees what I'm working on a layout of his, and he's like, "Mom, what is that?" And I'm, "Well, it's a record player," or not record player, a record. And he's like, "Well, what's a record?" And I'm all, "Well, that's how we used to listen to music." And he's like, "Really?" And it's just so funny because I grew up to all that. In fact, my parents had 8-tracks. Is that what it was? 8-tracks or whatever? So I even knew what those were. So it's just funny how times have changed, and, my kids, everything is on like, not an MP3 player, but an iPod. And that's where they think music comes from, so just funny. So then I grabbed a Studio Calico label, and I put down a label, and then you see a red sticker on there. That was from, I think, All About a Boy collection from also Echo Park. And I noticed I wasn't even thinking about the color. I just went with the shape, and it said Noisy. And then I realized it's red, and nowhere in my layout is red. So I used my undo because that sticker was not moving, and ended up removing the sticker, replaced it with a banner, and I don't remember what that came in that collection, but it was like a blue and white diagonal. Let me see here. I think I have it. Okay, so that banner is also from Knee High and Bow Ties. And then it had like a little loop at the top, and what I did is I just folded it back on that Studio Calico label. And then I stapled it, and then I used Freckled Fawn. They had these puffy stickers that came in their Oh Dear Me kit when they first came out with their kits. And I've had them forever in my stash. And so I picked out 2 orange ones, and they actually had the perfect phrase. Because sometimes that you find the perfect color, but then the words just don't match or have anything to do with the photo. So it said, the circle one said good times, and the other one said LOL. Because they're just boys, and boys are so silly as it is. And so yeah, I placed a couple more brads at the top and at the bottom to hold down the mesh. And one of them is really cute. It's from the October Afternoon Midway collection, and it's a guy like the mustache. You know how everything was all about the mustache, which was perfect for these boys. So, and then I'm going to grab October Afternoon Orange Sherbet, I think, Mini Market letter stickers, and then I'm going to grab the Daily Flash, and I don't know what that color is called. Let me see here. It is called In Deep Sea. Just a perfect match to the blue that I was using. And my title is going to be called, my title is going to be Time to Party, because I already did another layout that I used that goes with this story, and it was already titled Just the Guy, so I couldn't use that again. So here's some close-ups of my layout. I absolutely love how it turned out. And yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend, and hopefully I will have another layout for you guys next weekend. Bye.